third edition of the Bullheaded Podcast. I am your host, per usual, Sean Tyson, here with Zoo and P. Bush. How you guys doing?
Doing all right, man. Just
Oh
ready
man,
to trade. Ready to trade. Yeah, man. Tough fantasy week, but finally got one dub in one of my leagues and split once again. So I just feel like it's just an up and down roller coaster year so far. Not easy.
Not gonna lie, man. This past weekend, man, it's been my worst fantasy week of my entire fantasy football career. I'm in 5 leagues right now. I went 0-5, man. 0-5.
Wow.
One league I lost by one
Yeah.
point, aka to Travis Kelce. This brother showed up, man, kicked my ass. In another league, man, got to play the DJ Hawkinson, Jamal Williams combination, the Detroit boys. That team dropped 150 on me, so I couldn't do much about that, man. 150 on me. And my home league, Austin Eckler, dropped a nuke on me, a hat trick, and that's all she wrote, man. That is all she wrote,
Eckler
man.
bomb, yeah.
And in another league, man, Jesus Christ, I was up. San Francisco defense dropping that 22, man.
Oh, that was.
And it was all she wrote. I dropped 120.
Yeah.
He dropped 130, man. And the guy started Amon-Ra St. Brown, who didn't play, and he still dropped 130. So I'm looking at them like, Jesus Christ, just one of those weeks, man. It's one of those weeks, man. When I was watching that Sunday night game, man, I couldn't even watch it, man. I felt sick, man. I just see my fantasy teams. I'm just like,
one of those days.
Oh yeah, that Monday night game, man. I could barely watch it, man. It was one of those weeks. I'm like, football, man. Ooh, putting me a little in sad mood, man. Put me in a little. Had to drink some booze Monday night, man. Had to drink some booze. Oh yeah, I had to drink some booze, man.
Revelation.
It was a spicy strawberry. It was a booze. Spicy strawberry lemonade, man. Spicy strawberry lemonade. The heartbeat got up to 169 beats per minute, man. It got real high, man. My heart went high, but my fantasy teams went low, man. So it balanced out. But man, I had an awful week in fantasy football.
I could just picture that too.
Yeah, 0-5, man.
Oh my God.
0-5. Woo!
Wow. That's atypical for you, man. You're usually
it is. Yeah, usually I at least go 3-2, man. I'm okay, 3-2. I'll take positive, but man, this week, man. Oh Lord, man. It was bad. It was bad.
I think we all suffered L's. Like I say, I split, but like my money league is where I lost. So it's kind of like or my big money league, I would say I lost. So it just didn't feel the same. Like you say, I'm the same way, man. Once you start watching those Sunday night, because you kind of get an understanding of where your team is. Once you start watching the Sunday night and Monday night games, you're either riding high and just like it doesn't matter like last week, or it's just like you can't really enjoy the game because you're either stressing about the score or you're already down and it's over. So it's just like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to watch the 49ers and Rams, whatever. But speaking of the 49ers Rams, they came on last night. We're going to kind of give you a little bit of a wrap up of what we thought of the week 4 games and how those played out. And P. Bush, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I thought last night's game was, it's just typical Jimmy G, man. He's kind of like Aaron Rodgers to the Bears. He just owns the Rams, man. In his career there, I think he's 7-0 now against the Rams as a 49ers quarterback. But I'm looking at this once again. I think this was our game of the week last week, but that Ravens-Bills game, man. Ravens once again blowing a lead at home. Tale of two halves. I think it was, for most of the first half, it was about 20-3. I think they ended up making it 20-10 before halftime. But yeah, man, tale of two halves. Lamar made, questionable 4th and goal call. Typical John Harbaugh, man, just playing the analytics, deciding to go for it. And Lamar, and in that situation, look, I mean, he's rolling out of the pocket. You're either turning it over automatically or he ends up getting picked off in the end zone. So questionable decision-making on the Baltimore sideline, but, he stood by his decision in his press conference. So I don't know if I agree with it, but that was and could be the AFC Championship game, as we've mentioned a couple times this year. So, I thought that the Bills' resiliency was huge. Their ability to shut down Mark Andrews was impressive because that guy has been a juggernaut on offense this year so far. Sorry, Zoo, but holding that man to one catch is impressive.
Man, that brother had 2 points.
2 points, man. Yep. I know the pain, Zoo. Don't worry. I had Logan Thomas playing in my tight end position a couple times, and Mark Andrews didn't even match that amount. So, but yeah, man, I thought that Josh Allen, he kind of ended up relying on his legs a lot, and I know I mentioned last week that we would kind of see what Lamar would end up relying on, and I think that it might end up having to be his legs. After seeing how he played the Bills, man, I just think that they have to rely on him, and they have to start feeding Dobbins more too, because that man looking real nice, especially Zoo,
man.
like you said, pre-production at the goal line. They need a stud back like that, and I think that they're easing him back in, but I think he might be starting into that at least flex RB2 position in fantasy now.
Yeah. I'm really happy for Dobbins, especially what he's gone through injury wise. Because one thing I noticed, man, J.K. Dobbins, 4 catches. He's not known for a pass catcher, but if they use J.K. Dobbins more of a pass catcher, Jesus Christ, because he's got 4 receptions for only 22 yards, but he got a receiving touchdown, and he got one at the the goal line, getting a tutty down there. So J.K. Dobbins' usage right now, if you're a J.K. Dobbins shareholder, you went from being, oh no, this dude's injured, man. He hasn't played week 1, but this guy might be a league winner because this guy's draft stock
could be
dropped a decent amount because everyone feared his injury. And I think it was fair to have that criticism off of an ACL.
Absolutely.
And a couple other knee injuries. It wasn't just the ACL, it was a couple other stuff there. So I'm happy about J.K. Dobbins because this is my guy. When this dude came out of Ohio State, rookie second year, I was super, super high on this guy. So I'm glad for him. Lamar Jackson, his worst game of the season, 2 picks, man.
Regression.
That pick in the end zone, man, that was really, really bad. That was really, really bad.
He just threw it up for grabs.
Exactly. Obviously, this guy, security blanket, got shut down, as you mentioned. Buffalo Bills defense is elite. Mark Andrews. Oh, Lord. 2 points, man. Jesus Christ. I thought I had Robert Tunney on my team, man. Jesus Christ, man.
Hey,
he had one
this week.
Man, he got 2 catches for 12 yards, man. It was an embarrassment, man. It was an embarrassment. Lamar Jackson finally has a regression game after just going full MVP for the first couple of weeks. So he was due for a bad game, but it came against Josh Allen, man. And this dude turned into a running back again, man. We forget Josh Allen, man. This guy, I always call this guy's their RB1 and QB1. Like Lamar's the RB1, QB1. Same with Josh Allen. Because Josh Allen throwing wise, he's like, man, I'm 19 for 36, man. My efficiency's not there, man. Even though I thought he's going to have a lot better passing game, especially against that Ravens secondary. I was expecting better throwing. Like Diggs didn't have that big of a game. Like no receivers had that great of a game. But Josh Allen, 11 carries, 70 yards, man. This dude just a tank.
Team on his back.
Dude, he is, man. Like he legit did. Like Josh, especially with the comeback, scoring 13 straight points to come back against that Ravens team that's now is a little known for blowing leads now with the Dolphins and now the Bills. Like these are 2 probably playoff teams. So shout outs to them, man. But for me this week, man, this might shock you guys. My favorite game to watch that interests me the most was the Jets versus Steelers, man. Oh, man, because when Mitchell Trubisky got, finally, I was so sick of watching Trubisky, man. This dude, man, I know how Bears fans feel about this, brother. Like, some people man, I feel bad for the dude. Man, stop it. This dude sucks, man. Like, Mitchell Trubisky got drafted in front of
He's a safe player,
and Deshaun Watson, man. He's a backup quarterback. That's what he is. No shame about it. No shame about it. That means you're a top 60 quarterback in the entire world. Okay, that's nice, man. You be your backup, bro. When someone gets injured, you come in, man. Be that relief pitcher, man. Get your 150 passing yards, man. You could do that as a backup quarterback. So Mitchell Trubisky, go to the bench. This boy Pickett, man. I know he had 3 picks, but when you watch him play, that pass looks beautiful, man. And this dude's a tough guy, man. They use him at the goal line. Multiple times, got 2 touchdowns. Even though the picks might look bad, but I saw a couple of those. I'm like, it got a little tipped over here, maybe one little high. I watch him, man. I'm like, I feel like the intangibles are there. I feel like they got a lot more energy around this guy. Like Mitchell Trubisky, I'm sorry, that dude just got no swag, man. I don't know if it's face or his talking ability or something. There's something about Trubisky.
Never has.
Doesn't got no swag, man. This dude, I just feel this guy's got the charisma. Maybe it's all about the flow or something, or his pass looks a little pretty, man. But Kenny Pickett, man, when he throws a football, I'm like, okay, this guy looks like a franchise quarterback. Because in the preseason, he looked really good. He looked really good in the preseason.
They have good weapons.
Yeah, obviously. Exactly. Oh no, well, you gotta throw the ball to Deontay Johnson a little more. Only 4 targets, man. Man, that dude was a disgrace last Sunday night, man. He joined the Mark Andrews club. Deuces, man. 2 points, man. 2 points for Mark Andrews, 2 points for Deontay Johnson. But Jesus Christ, man, George Pickens, he got targeted a lot more.
His usage is going up.
Yeah, his usage he should go up because this guy's a physical specimen, man. This guy's a physical specimen. So you got Chase Claypool, who's also a physical specimen. That's a big dude. So you're looking at the receivers, got the Deontay smaller little dude, route runner type of guy, and you got the 2 big receivers. So I feel like, but Pickett, man, he's in for a challenge. These next couple games coming up, man. Like Jesus Christ, the schedule is brutal. Buffalo Bills, The Philadelphia Eagles.
Welcome to the league.
These are some Super Bowl contenders, man. Elite defenses with elite offenses. You got two-way teams. You got two-way teams, and you Mike Tomlin putting this guy straight into the fire to see what happens, man. Because a lot of people are like, are they going to actually do that, make him play? Yeah, Tomlin's like, I'm done with Trubisky. I'm like, he gave the veteran a chance. Thank the Lord. I don't want to watch Trubisky throw a damn football no more, man. I'm sorry, man.
They're in a tough division. They're not expecting to win the division this year. I mean, they'd like to. Obviously, if they can, if they have a chance, they will go for it. But I don't think they're expecting to come out on top of the Ravens or the Bengals, or who knows what the Browns will do when Deshaun's back. So it's kind of an open year for them to try it out.
Yeah, exactly. Not much pressure. Like just let the rookie play. They used a first-round draft pick on him. He looked good in preseason. Everybody knows Trubisky not the answer. So give this guy an opportunity to develop in the regular season and put it against good teams to see what he can do. Because if he gets wins against these teams, you'll know real quick that first-round pick was not a waste. You'll know real quick against these teams. You ain't playing against chump teams, man. You're playing against some elite teams right now. So I'm excited to see this offense. I'm excited to see how this guy commands the offense and enticing this offense and making it just a little better, more pleasant to watch, man. Maybe help out Najee a little more in the pass, in the rushing attack, man. So I want to see how they elevate this offense because, man, just from the eye test right now, man, I like Kenny Pickens, man. I like it.
But the Jets pulled out another win.
Oh.
Zach Wilson, I will say, had a really, really, really rough first half outside of that touchdown reception he got. He had a rough half, but
it was awful the first.
It's pretty cool to see his usage with Elijah Moore. I think we all kind of predicted that was coming.
He came back immediately.
Yeah. I kind of thought that was going to be there.
And Wilson went down a little bit.
Yeah, yep. Definitely. Garrett Wilson went down, but I still think both of those receivers are going to be the two main guys he kind of throws to.
Corey Davis too, though.
Corey Davis
didn't he have a catch? I think maybe
touchdown. I think he caught a touchdown. Caught that big catch on the game-winning drive too.
Yeah,
down the middle.
So I think he's going to be able to. I think there were some people who were kind of being like, "Oh, is he going to be able to spread the ball around?" I think he's still going to be able to do that, and I think it was clear too that Brees is kind of becoming the guy that's going to be still in a split share, but I think he's going to become the main guy because that last drive with him running around and doing the stuff he did. He just showed his versatility and what he can be as the lead back. But for me, I had another game in mind that I was going to go to until I watched the Monday night game last night. And for me, that was the game that I liked the most. And I think it's just because I like the 49ers and Rams because of all the subplots that go around between those two teams. I think it's slowly becoming my favorite rivalry in the NFL. Just because of the star power on both sides. Like on the, I can say the 49ers side, you have Deebo. On the defensive side with them, you have Bosa. The storylines with Jimmy G. The Rams and all the stars they have. Jalen Ramsey getting into it with Ayuk. A lot of the trash talk that was going on. And I feel like the 49ers, they kind of look at it as, okay, they went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago. They got beat, even though it was a close game. Then it's like they get to the NFC Championship game. They lose to the Rams. I think part of them thinks like, we're better than the Rams. It's just the Rams won last year. But the 49ers always play them well. And even though last night it was a blowout score, the game was kind of competitive for the most part until it kind of got pushed out, at the end last night. But I really like that atmosphere when they play. I just like all of that. It kind of reminds me of Pittsburgh and Baltimore back in the day a little bit, where those teams were just high. They just know each other so well. And it's like either team, it's a true rivalry. It's not one of these where it's like one team is beating each other like seven out of the last 8 years where it's not really competitive, but traditionally they're a rival. I feel like the Rams and the 49ers are like mano-a-mano. And I know I picked the Packers to get to the Super Bowl, but I would not be mad at a 49ers-Rams NFC Championship game again because I just like everything that goes with it. Because even Deebo today, when he was talking about when he had that long pass catch week, I think he called it he mauled somebody and he ran through the whole field. He was saying about Jalen Ramsey, he don't know what Jalen was doing. He was when I was running towards him, he was backing up. And it was just subtle shots like that. It's I just kind of like that the chippiness because I think the 49ers really think they're the better team. Even though the Rams won last year, they just feel like they're a better team. You can see how they play. That's probably the game that I was most into this coming week. And one other game that I thought was interesting was the Dallas Commanders game. There's no controversy in Dallas, right?
In what sense?
Cooper looks good.
Cooper Rush?
He's
undefeated as starter, man. It's really impressive.
But he's a backup. But do you guys think he look like he could be an average starter? He doesn't look like a backup.
I don't know about that because the guy had 2 touchdowns, 0 picks.
Yeah.
Like as a game manager.
Yeah.
He's been game managing. Like he's been doing
better
his
than
job.
Trubisky.
He's way better than Trubisky, man. Like the guy's game managing. They're using the rushing attack. My boy Zeke got 19 carries, man. Shout out to Zeke, man. But my Cooper Rush, man, because I thought Dallas is done without Dak Prescott, man.
Me too.
Except they just go undefeated.
Yeah. It's just interesting because it's like I just thought like in terms of what I thought he would be able to do managing the game. I thought to me, what I thought his ceiling could be was whenever Dak comes back, say he comes back in the next 2 weeks, if he could just win 2 out of the last 4 or 5 games, like, okay, he did a job because he's the backup. So he at least if he gets you 2 wins, it's whatever. But the fact that he's undefeated, and now I will give Dallas credit, they do have an elite defense. So that is helping. That is helping. But even with that elite defense,
they'll score 20.
Yeah, the offense, it looks good. And it's hard to and I know Dak is the main guy and he got all of the money, but just how the offense looks, it just looks competent to where if your defense, now it's going to be hard to ask your defense to play like that every week, but if he can give you that 14 or 15 times out of the week and you just have a guy who's not going to turn the ball over and can just move the offense up and down the field, it's like, you have to play Dak, but it's just still interesting to ask, like, does Dallas look better with Cooper Rush?
He's been playing better with CD. Noah Brown has kind of come on with Cooper Rush. Now they get Gallup back. He scores in his first
he scored a
game
touchdown. Yeah.
I would argue that I think we can all agree CD has this year solidified himself as a bottom level wide receiver 1. I'd say he's on the lower end of the wide receiver 1.
His volume is crazy right now.
His volume's crazy. Michael Gallup can come in and give you solid options down the field, and Noah Brown has really come on as a legitimate wide receiver 3 for that team. And heck, he was even filling in as a wide receiver 2 there. So I think they do miss Dalton Schultz a little bit. Did he end up playing in that game? I didn't watch too much
I watched the highlights. I didn't watch the game. But I don't think he scored, but I just know Logan Thomas is like OJ Howard.
He played, but he got a big fat donut.
Okay.
0 receptions.
Logan Thomas. I thought about. I was really pissed when I didn't get him on the waiver wire, and then when I saw how he played, it's like, okay, wasn't too mad about that.
We got 3 teams in the NFC East.
5 for 19.
Yeah, 3 teams in the NFC East over 3-1 or 3-1 or better. So,
Shout outs to Saquon Barkley. He's a man. If people haven't believed the hype is back, man, he back, man. And when you see, like, I know Pat, you were watching that game, man, because it was against your Bears. Man, the way Saquon runs, man. Oh, he looks amazing. Like, he looks like the best running back in the NFL.
He might be the best running back right now.
Yeah, it's either him or Chubb, because shout out to Chubb. That dude is having an absolute monster year. But
shout
Saquon
out Josh
Barkley,
Jacobs, too.
Oh, yeah. Hey, she had a good game for once, man.
For once, yeah.
Outlier. But
I had to shout him out. We always kind of crap.
We do always crap on Josh Jacobs, but yeah, from a fantasy perspective, Saquon is hitting the lottery right now. Like he's on one. So transitioning into, I guess you could say, fantasy. We're going to talk about a couple of players. Tight end's a tough position. There's only a few elite ones that you would say, at least before the year, you would say there's a few elite tight ends that you would want to take. So I was thinking last night watching 49ers and Rams of watching George Kittle running around out there and, he's trying to get acclimated with Jimmy G. And I thought to myself, and I wanted to ask the guys, who would you rather have for the rest of this fantasy season? And of course, I know everybody plays different types of leagues, PPR, half PPR, whatever. Just overall, who would you rather have, George Kittle or Kyle Pitts? And Zoo, I'm going to start with you.
Man, this one is tough, man, because this is tough because I'm always been a George Kittle guy, man. I like watching him play, man. But the dude's a Band-Aid, man. I'm sorry. I swear to God, every single year he plays, he misses at least a couple of games. And the way he plays, it's vicious. It's just vicious. He's just asking to get a concussion, man. I swear to God, the way he plays is vicious. And then you got Kyle Pitts out there where the head coach is talking about, like, man, this ain't fantasy football, man. I'm just trying to win the games. I'm like, first of all, you're not winning games. And second of all, you use the first round pick on a tight end. You better use that asset. because the manager is expecting you to use it. So I don't know what's going on over there. So I got to go with the Band-Aid, man. I'm taking George Kittle's, man. Even though I like Shanahan. You know me, I'm a huge Shanahan guy, man. With Jimmy G back, that is an upgrade over Mr. Trey Lance as a passer. As a pure passer, yes. Jimmy G's the better passer. And right now, Deebo Samuels right now, he's having some hell of a games right now with Mr. Jimmy G and manning the quarterback position right now. So I feel like George Kittle's volume, he's the number 2 guy. I don't know, Brandon Ayuk, man. Some people like him a little more, but I think George Kittle is the pure number 2 guy. I like the offense. I like the coaching. Kyle Pitts over there. I don't like the coaching. I don't like the quarterback. I just don't like Atlanta, man. Actually, no, I like the rookie. That's the only part of Atlanta I like. I like the rookie, man. That is true, man. They've been competitive in a lot of games, man. That's actually mad impressive. But my oh man, I'm going with the coach, man. I'm going with the head coach with the quarterback combination. So I'm thinking George Kittle. It's a huge if, man. But I feel like if he plays, man, he's definitely going to produce. Even though right now, Mr. George Kittle.
Look at those numbers.
His total points, right? He's the 45th tight end in fantasy football. 45th. And you guys came. There's 32 teams right now, so his brother's not doing much because obviously he got injured.
Behind Ross Dwelly.
Yeah, he missed the first 2 games, and when he showed up, he gave you 20 yards, 24 yards, and 28 yards respectively.
And this is with Jimmy G too. This is not with Trey.
Yeah, this is with Jimmy G. His usage hasn't been that high right now. So, my, Kyle Pitts, though, but I don't think Kyle Pitts is doing much better, and the brother's been healthy, so
yeah,
we'll see about that.
And I think Drake London has something to do with that, too. I think Mariota coming into the new offense and Drake London coming in at the same time, they kind of both had to work in tandem to really understand what they were going to be doing down there. Yeah, man, Pitts, for how good of a talent he is, it's ridiculous that maybe he's just getting draped all the time. I don't really get to watch too many Falcons games. Yeah, the only upside, though, is I think with Cordero going on IR for the next 6 weeks or so, they might have to start relying a little bit more on the passing game. And I think some short, Travis Kelce type routes to Kyle Pitts might be the way to just get this offense moving down the field. We have that Algier rookie, I think, coming in to step in for Cordero. But, that's the only upside. But, Zoo, I am going to agree with you. I just think you can see with Deebo, if you look at every game, his yardage has gone up with Jimmy G each game. I think George Kittle is going to continue to do that, especially with Jimmy G having a couple more games under his belt and George coming back healthy. Hopefully, if he's not going to be a Band-Aid, then they can get some more reps in and his numbers will go up too. So, yeah, I got to go with Kittle, man. I just think he's going to take over for Ayuk. I think that was Ayuk's opportunity to earn his Jimmy G's trust there with Kittle out, and I don't think he did enough there. But Kittle, he almost scored last night. To be honest, he was about a pinky toe off, man. So, we'll see. I'm going with Kittle, though.
Yeah, I think I'm going to make it a clean sweep. The only thing that's just so frustrating with Kyle Pitts, if, you're an owner of him in fantasy, because he kind of had this issue last year, because I had him last year when he was with Matt Ryan. I think kind of his breakout game was when they was over in London, and I don't even think he scored a touchdown. He just had a bunch of yards and receptions. Yep. But it's just how bad is the coach to where – okay, you have Drake London, who was your number 1 receiver, and he's an outside threat. But how bad are you and I don't know if Arthur Smith calls plays or if he has an offensive coordinator that does that, but it's just to me, how can you not use Kyle Pitts in a way, especially how athletic he is? It'd be different if he was a true, maybe a George Kittle type that was new into the league where he's a blocking tight end, and George Kittle is athletic, but it's just he's a more all-around tight end. But basically, Kyle Pitts, for better or worse, is a wide receiver too. He's not a blocking tight end. He's not asked to go out there and bulldoze a bunch of defensive ends. His skill set, if you go back to watching his games in Florida, was as a receiving threat. So why can you not get him involved in the offense? Because I would be more on okay, this is more of the quarterback, but he wasn't really getting used well last year as a rookie with Matt Ryan, who's a pure thrower. So I just don't know if that's by design in the offense, because it's I just can't even imagine if Andy Reid was able to get his hands on Kyle Pitts, what he would be doing. Imagine
Kelce to retire.
Yeah, even if Kelce was, I guarantee you, even if he had Kelce on the field and he had Pitts on the roster, Pitts is going to get numbers in KC because Andy Reid's going to get creative and build to get him the ball. So to me, it just screams coaching. That's why it's you kind of just by default have to go to Kittle. And the only reason why I kind of brought that up as a comparison, because it's they both came off to slow fantasy starts, but it's like one's a band-aid to Zoo's point, and one's just not getting used right. So it's like, what do you bank on? Do you bank on the coach in Atlanta figuring it out, or do you bank on Kittle staying healthy? And it's just like, because if Kittle stays healthy, I think his numbers are going to get to decent, right? I think it'll be decent, especially with Jimmy G. Now with Trey Lance, that would have been a whole nother variable. I actually probably would have went with Pitts because I don't know how he would have used Kittle with Trey, because I feel like Trey's legs would have probably ate into some of what Kittle wanted to do.
And the thing is, Shanahan just moves the ball around so much. Whether multiple running backs, heck, they even run routes with use checks. Sometimes he's had a couple big catches the past 2 games. Even Jawan Jennings gets some looks as well. Obviously, Ayuk and Deebo. That's the only thing with Kittle, I think, compared to maybe 3 years ago when they just had less options to use. That's probably the only thing I would consider, other than him being a band-aid. But I think you still got to go with Kittle there just for consistency.
Yeah. And staying with the 49ers, thought of another interesting one. Deebo, to me, just all-around versatile player. Devonte, most would consider, I don't know about this year, but for the last several years, just one of the top receivers in the league. Got me to thinking, who would you rather have for fantasy for the rest of the year? Whether you'd have Deebo or would you rather rock with Devonte? And P. Bush, I'm going to give you that one.
I'm going to stick with the Niners as well, I guess. I'm going to go with Deebo, man.
I'm with you, man.
I really had to break this one down because this is, I think, probably one of the closest comparisons you can make. I think they're the 9th and 10th or 11th wide receivers, respectively, with Devonte at the 9 spot in half-point PPR this year. Now, the thing between them is Deebo has 19 less targets than Devonte through the first 4 weeks. That's a wide margin. But he only has 8 less catches. So I think that just shows the efficiency that Deebo has, especially with Jimmy G. They used him more in the rushing game when Trey Lance was in. If you noticed, if you actually look at the games, he was playing in the running game more so. Now, granted, that was also a bit of a weather thing. So you have to take into account his rushing upside. Devonte does get a lot of looks, but I also think that's because Renfro's been out. I know Mac Hollins has come in and done a pretty decent job out there, but when Renfro does come back, that's a guy that Derek Carr likes to use, especially kind of at a safety blanket type of role, even more so than I think Darren Waller. I think Renfro just gets open. So, I think the upside of just total usage, I'm going to go with Deebo, but it's more so on Carr's inconsistency that scares me away from Devonte. I think that's where I'm having issues, and that just shows. Bingo. Look, he has 28 catches on 47 targets. That's 19. Obviously, probably not too many drops, but overthrows, throwing out of bounds. He was the closest receiver, whatever you want to call it, or just missed throws. So that's what kind of turned the tide for me, but only so slightly because Devonte is still a freaking beast.
Yeah, for me, man, it's not even a debate. I'm going Devonte Adams, man. I'm going Devonte Adams, man. This dude, I watched this guy. I have watched this guy way too much as a Packers fan. Devonte Adams in the red zone is so beautiful to watch. I don't care who's throwing it to him, even though his boy Derek Carr, he's going from Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer. Ain't no way, man. That dude's been a disgrace this year. That dude's been probably, I would say, below average this year.
Yeah,
I thought he's been a below average quarterback this year, but I don't think it doesn't even matter. Like you mentioned, he's a target hog, man.
Yeah,
he's a target hog. And when this dude, exactly, like legit, like when you're getting double-digit targets, man, I like the volume. The offense, this team's struggling right now, so they're going to keep chucking the football. And who's Derek Carr's target? Devonte Adams, and Devonte Adams is an elite red zone threat, man. They look for this guy in the red zone. Even though Josh Jacobs last time he went off, but usually in the red zone, his guy's Devonte Adams. And I'm just looking at historically, Devonte Adams in the last 6 seasons, this dude gave him double-digit touchdowns every single season he plays football.
With Rodgers.
Like, this is what, yeah, exactly. It is with Rodgers.
With Rodgers.
It is with Rodgers.
It
is with Rodgers.
Asterisk.
I give you that. But through the first 4 weeks, he's already had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So he's on pace for another double-digit touchdown performance, and I think that's quite replicable right now with his usage right now. And man, I'm just watching Devonte play, man, because I think he's a better route runner than Deebo Samuels.
Yeah.
I think he's a better route runner. I think in the end zone, he's a bigger target machine as far as being the red zone threat. Well, Deebo Samuel's more of a exactly. Deebo's an army. he's a Swiss Army knife, and that run yesterday was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy G got a passing yards, man, but Deebo did all the work, man. He
Yep.
did all the work. Like,
Yeah.
shout out to Deebo. That dude, yeah, he's a yak machine, man. Deebo's a yak machine, man. But my, I'm going Devonte Adams' resume, man, because for a half decade in fantasy football, this guy is getting consensus number 1 or number 2 wide receiver in fantasy football. He's been the definition of consistency. He's definition been a guy that doesn't really get injured. This is a guy that's been getting this guy every year you draft him, he produces. Like, this guy has produced for half a decade. So I'm going with that. Like, I got a little hesitant. Maybe the Raiders, man. Derek Carr, I'm not a fan of him. But some guys, it just doesn't matter, man. And I feel like Devontae's that type of guy. Like, I ain't talking about the Raiders winning some games. I'm talking about 1,200 yards, 10 tutties. That's my projection for Devonte Adams, because that's been what he's been doing for the past couple of years. Regardless of the QB right now, man. Even though the thing is, man, Derek Carr don't like the QB. The coach, I got questions about the coach.
McDaniels.
Yeah, McDaniels. I'm like, this guy.
There's a couple questions about NFC West coaches.
He's great as an assistant. He's a great sidekick. But as a head coach, historically, this guy has not done that well. But my man, Devonte Adams, though, he's gonna eat, man. He's still gonna eat.
I mean, they have to. They have to throw
the usage and targets in the money zone, man, the red zone is why I'm going with Devonte Adams.
Yeah, I like Deebo, and it's now like I say, Trey Lance has always been the fixture in this argument. Like, if Trey Lance was still there, just because he was such an unknown, this would have been a clear landslide for Devonte.
Yeah,
but I just think Deebo has this rapport with Jimmy G that he knows that Jimmy G can get him the ball. He knows that Jimmy G can put him in, I guess, these, throw those accurate passes behind the line of scrimmage so he can get the yak, as Zoo was saying. And I also think, too, like, Deebo becomes very, I feel like, underrated around the goal line because of his ability to get the ball and run like a running back and become a running back, and also, get jump balls. Even though he's not the tallest guy, he fights in the air when he jumps to get a lot of his one-on-ones. And, he's just the guy you can toss to. You can do a toss sweep. You can do halfback dive. You can do like one of those little pitches that I think Lamar actually did that with J.K. Dobbins, like the little pitch where he like dives in. It counts as a pass, those types of plays. He's just very versatile around the goal line. And I think his usage is just going to continue to go up because, like you say, Ayuk, he's a really good player. He had some catches last night, but he just is solidified in that receiver 2 range with who, and really in terms of targets, he's the third option. So, with Kittle kind of still trying to get his sea legs and, get to his routes and all that type of stuff, Deebo just seems like the type of guy you just can't replace. And like watching him last night, maybe I'm just biased because he was on Monday night and he just was going crazy. But I just like Deebo's versatility. And it's more so about Jimmy G and Deebo's connection, more so like Derek Carr. I know Derek Carr has been playing below his standards, but I just feel like with Renfro coming back and Carr having that connection, not saying, I guess you say Adams is going to take a huge step back, but I don't know. These first couple of weeks with the Raiders, and I know they won their game against Denver, but they just didn't, I know Devontae gets his looks and his catches, but I don't know. Like, I think I would be more with you. I think he can get the 10 touchdowns, but I'm not sold he'll get the 1,200 yards.
Yep.
I'm not sold.
Interesting.
He might get 1,000.
Yeah.
He might get 1,000.
Oh, he's guaranteed 1,000, man. He's guaranteed 1,000. Unless the brother gets injured.
Especially with the extra game.
Like the dude in 12 games got 997 yards. So if he gets injured, boom, okay, obviously he'll get the K. But if he stays healthy, he's getting that 1K easy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just my trepidation is with Carr. I'm not a fan of what Carr. And part of me this reason or this season, like preseason stuff and the talk, like something about me was like, I didn't come out and say it, but I just, Carr is a good quarterback, but somebody had an I'll say that for after the pod because we'll be on here for like an hour. But Carr, I had trepidation about just him as a player. It's about 2 quarterbacks. But anyways, transitioning to our last topic, get into some of these week 5 games. Like say NFL, starting to get into, I guess you could say 4th of the way, whatever. I'm not good at math, but we're getting there to where division play is going to start coming into play. We're seeing injuries. It's going to be changing a lot of stuff. certain quarterbacks might be coming back. So what games are you looking at, guys, in terms of, week 5 and I guess the best game of the week, I would say, P. Bush?
I'm just gonna go again, man. I'm picking the Ravens game once again, 3 weeks in a row.
They do
they got some nice hard opponents right now, man.
They do.
Yeah, they do not easy schedule. I think they, maybe I honestly don't know why, because they just got banged up last year and kind of got screwed over the team, and then they just get tossed the hardest schedule, and it's ridiculous. But this is probably going to be top 2 teams in the division. If I were to bet, the Browns potential. We'll have to just see how that transition turns out in the end with Watson. But, I'm really looking more so at one, can the Ravens not blow a game, for once against legitimate teams, right? Because these are the teams that they have to eventually beat. And the Bengals are clearly one. You have to at least split them. And then you're looking at the other side. Can this Bengals team kind of evolve and get, its feet back under themselves? I think they're back to 2-2 now. They need to get Mixon more involved. They need to get Chase more involved, just so they can open up guys better, like Boyd, and maybe their Hayden Hurst usage could go up as well. So, I think they just have so many weapons on both of these teams. Lamar needs to try and get Bateman down the field in this game against Eli Toast Apple. It's just, this is one of the best division games we'll probably see in the next coming weeks. And it's Sunday Night Football, man. So you can't go wrong.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. Wow, I love watching. I don't know about you guys. I love watching the Ravens play, man.
Absolutely,
it's a fun version of football, man. It's a fun off. It's a beautiful offense to watch. So,
I'll be starting Dobbins this week.
Man, when you get that running quarterback, man, it makes that running back a job a lot easier, man.
Oh yeah,
a lot easier, because you don't know which dude's running, man. You don't, and Lamar's great at that fake, man, making it look like he's gonna run the football, man. That's a great option, man. But for me, man, I'm be on the Cooper Rush bandwagon, man. I want to see those Cowboys, man, against the Rams, man. Yeah, I want to see him against, because this is a defense, man. This is a defense playing against, I think, still a good team. I don't know as good as obviously last year, but man, oh man, Cooper Rush against an elite defense, because we're getting pretty much 2 elite defenses. Because the offensive, man, I don't know what's wrong with the Rams offense right now. Matthew Stafford this year,
he's too reliant on Cup. Yeah. He won't even look at Allen Robinson at all.
Oh, I know. As an Allen Robinson shareholder right now, man, I'm noting it down as the worst fantasy football decision of my fantasy football career, my decade of playing. I was so high. I was as high as Allen Robinson as I was high on Saquon Barkley.
Everyone was. Yeah.
And you got Saquon up here and Allen Robinson the doo-doo, man. This dude about to be on waivers. This dude catching 1 ball a game, 12 yards. That's just become Allen Robinson. Day in the life of Allen Robinson. He runs a marathon, catches only 1 ball, man. So Allen Robinson has been a disgrace. I don't know if Stafford doesn't like the dude. I don't know if he's not always open, but he ain't playing football, man.
He's throwing the ball to Higbee more, which is unbelievable.
Higbee getting 10 targets a game right now, man. This dude gets a lot of targets. He gets a lot of love, and you pay Allen Robinson that much money to do nothing. Absolutely nothing, man.
The Bears curse, man. I'm telling you.
My Lord, man. I thought this dude, man, I thought this dude get a little QB upgrade, man, from Blake Bortles, Mitchell Trubisky to Matthew Stafford. I thought this guy's gonna have a career season. No, man. A career season, a career worst season, man. Because this year, man, he might be as bad as last year, man. Worse. It might be as bad as last year. It might be. Oh Jesus. Oh Lord, man. Allen Robinson, man. Every time I see that brother, man, I feel a little sad inside, man. I drafted this man over Lamar Jackson. What a disgrace. I drafted this dude over a lot of other stud receiver, man. What a disgrace, man. Allen Robinson, man. That's why I went 0-5 this week, man. I can't even play the brother anymore, man. I can't even look at the brother.
You can't even put him in at flex.
I don't even like the name Allen anymore, man. I don't even like the name Robinson no more, man. This guy's disgraceful. He's disgraced to football. He's disgraced to the wide receiver position this year. Highway robbery, man. How much money does this dude get paid? How much money did this guy get paid?
60?
Jesus Christ.
I don't know.
Jesus.
Too
Sean
much
McVay,
for what he's doing.
Sean McVay said they're going to use him a little more. That was a lie.
He just talking. He just be talking.
That was a lie,
He just
man.
be talking.
This dude getting 5 targets max right now, and he's catching 1 football, so I don't even think it's worth looking at the dude right now. This guy looks washed. This guy doesn't look like a stud no more, even though he was one of the better route runners in the past.
It had to be an injury, I think, for him to maybe show up, and it had to be the cup. That would be the only way he kind of
No. Watch the man.
resurgence.
Why Tyler Higbee become the wide receiver 1, tight end 1, man. I swear to God, man. I swear to God.
Cup goes down. That's 19 targets that somebody has to fill for.
Man, A-Rod probably getting one of those, man. This guy's been disgraceful. I don't even remember the topic we were talking about, man. I hate this man so much this year, man. I hate this man. I hate this man.
Your game of the week. You want to see Cowboys, Rams.
Cowboys and the Rams, yeah.
Oh, man. This game of the week ain't because of Allen Robinson. That's all I got to say, man. Ain't because of Allen Robinson. Yeah, I want to see Cooper Rush against a legit defense. So
what's that up?
I'm rooting for the Cowboys right now because they've been like, this is mad impressive. This is really, really impressive what they did. They obviously, there's some bad teams in there, like the Washington Commanders, who's just absolute joke on defense. But that Bengals, that's a legit team. That's a legit win. So I got to keep rooting for the underdog right now because right now they paid Dak Prescott all that money, man. And you got this backup man making a fraction of what Mr. Dak Prescott's making. Jesus. Maybe they should have let him go and get some other assets, man. Who knows, man? Because Dak Prescott, I still remember that first game 1. Might be it's definitely an overreaction. He was atrocious in game 1. Cooper Rush has looked better this season.
Dak's not that bad. He's not that bad. No. And a lot of this is, I brought that up earlier. That was just a talking point. But if Dallas is smart, they will go back to Dak. And I think Dak will be fine. It's just interesting to see that their backup. I mean, I know he had his game last year where he won last year. But, it just the offense looks good and the defense is elite. But for me, because I do like the Dallas and the Rams game just because of storylines. But going to the AFC West, I like the Kansas City versus Las Vegas. Las Vegas won last week or whatever, it was past week. They got up off the map. So now this is another prove it game where it's like KC is rolling.
Yep.
They put
on a clinic against the Bucs defense, which is no slouch at all. They got studs all over that defense. So the fact that Mahomes came in and did what he did against that defense shows that Kansas City is for real. So to me, I want to see, division game. They know each other somewhat well, even though there's new pieces. I kind of want to see it is at Kansas City, so I think it's going to be Kansas City favored in that game. But I want to see how the Raiders respond because, beating their division opponent, even though, like you say, they're 0-3, you could have a really good outlook on the season going forward if you pick up 2 division wins with the Broncos and Kansas City. Like if somehow Las Vegas goes in there and wins that, then all of a sudden, I think I said last week it's hard to envision a team going 0-3 making the playoffs. Well, you're looking really good in the division if you get those 2 wins. And one of those being at KC, because I would rather be going to KC now than going to KC in December. So that's just one aspect of I think that's a Monday night game that I'm looking forward to.
And historically, the Raiders play the Chiefs pretty tough historically. If you remember, and these are the Patrick Mahomes Chiefs. I'm talking about those Chiefs. Yep. I remember the Raiders every time. It's always a really, really good game. So I like that pick. But Jesus Christ, Patrick Mahomes, some of the stuff he pulled off.
Dude, he's a point guard out there, bro.
Dude, I swear to God, he put someone in the spin cycle, man. Jesus Christ. He's doing basketball moves out there, playing street football. A little alley-oop to CEH for another tutty. What a bounce back season for CEH.
CEH helmet. I hate his helmet. It looks like a Pop Warner helmet. It looks so weird. And I know it's probably good for concussion protocol, whatever, but it just looks really weird on his head. Like it just looks like the helmet is too big for his head. But he's a good asset for them. Even though what's the guy behind him? Pincheiro, I think his name. He gets a lot of touches. I like him a lot.
And McKinnon.
Mm-hmm. So they gotta. Hey man, it speaks to Andy Reid and him just being a mastermind because everybody was having this huge
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek and he's doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Gotta have a coach, quarterback. You're fine. Yep. You will always be fine if you have that, and having Kelsey helps too. I think the more interesting question would be if Kelsey were to go down, what would they do? But Patrick Mahomes. That would be tough. Like you say, Juju had
That's it. Yeah. I gotta say this real quick, but Aaron Judge just broke the AL record, hit a 60-second homer. So not a baseball pod, but it's a good way to end it.
Hey, Roger Maris broke his record, 1961.
There you go.
I thought he would have been on the. Look at Zeus' face.
He was like, "What are you talking about, man? I live in New York and I haven't heard
Roger Maris. What? Who the heck is that?
Man,
Right, but he just hit it. He just hit it about 40 minutes ago.
all I know
right before we started,
about baseball is Aaron Judge is about to get paid because he's a free agent. That's all I know.
That is
there
going
you
to be
know.
interesting.
That's
what
all
his
I know.
contract's
All
gonna
Zoo
be.
needs to know the money.
That's all I know. And I know 60 is a big number for some random reason. I don't know why 60 is such a big deal, but okay, he hit 60 home runs.
It's because it's the Yankees.
Yeah,
Well,
true.
If this
6-0?
was the
random
Pirates
number.
and he was breaking the Pirates whatever record, I don't think they'd be doing live look-ins to see if.
Well, no,
would
he
break
broke
the record.
he broke the entire American League record.
Oh yeah.
Not just the Yankees team.
But I think him being on the Yankees helped.
Yeah,
but they probably still baseball. They're looking, home run back in the day, like with the Sosa and Bonds and all that. Mark McGwire, they did the whole live look into all the home run records.
yeah.
So I think that's a staple in baseball that they want to kind of push. So October baseball is here, by the way.
Yeah,
it is here.
We won't be talking about it,
but it's definitely here. I will be putting content on the page about October baseball because people like baseball when it comes to the playoff aspect of it, and I think they are changing up the wild card this year with some of those things.
Yeah,
but anyways,
you get an automatic 3-0.
Yeah, 3-0
if you're the higher
three
seed.
games at home. So I think that's pretty cool. But at least baseball's trying. They're trying. Like you said, that's one thing I will give them credit. It may not be the most interesting, but they're trying to make it more of a thing. But like I said, just being fully transparent, I'm only tuned into October baseball. I'm not watching on TV all day. But anyways, like you say, we'll put all type of football, baseball, basketball's in preseason, so you won't see too much of that unless it's just some crazy dunk. But
John Moran 360. John Moran 360 in the first game, man. This guy's just a performer out there. He puts on a show.
Yeah, he knows how to perform for the crowd. So, like I said, October is one of the best sports months. We got a lot of content coming out. Make sure you tune into it on bullheaded_pod. TikTok as well. We're starting to get more followers on there, more people asking for content on TikTok, which I think is really cool. Bullheaded864 for that. Quantro knows for the YouTube page, YouTube Shorts. This video that you're watching right now will be on there. All the DSPs, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, and for me, Zoo, and P. Bush, we are out.